All right, good, because we're recording. Ooh. So,
Nice,
yeah.
refreshing Coke Zero in my hand.
Oh, Coke Zero. I've got one in the fridge. I think I'll go get it now.
You've got one in the fridge. I've got one on the brain. I can't think of anything fucking douchebaggy to say.
Oh my goodness.
Never
And
mind.
if we were all sitting around a table, we could share a Coke together.
What does anyone know? Like the Coca-Cola theme song offhand? I was wanting to think it was.
No, don't go there.
I was
Don't
wanting to
go
think it
there.
was ba da ba ba ba, but that's McDonald's.
Yeah, no, that's...
So
Yeah.
red and yellow, red and white. I mean, it's close enough. So hey everyone, we are Information Creep, and we got Coke on the brain, Coca-Cola on the brain. Gotta specify. So
Texting my guy right now.
So everyone wanna introduce yourselves? No particular order.
Hey, what's up? I'm Walter. How are you guys doing?
Doing good.
Doing fine. Oh, thank you. Thank you.
I'm your host Spiros as always. So here I am.
I'm Primal Sabbath. You can find me in all the message boards and Facebook groups.
All of them, because I want to keep my name.
Hey dude, it's a brand. It's a brand. I don't blame you, Primal Sabbath. Not at all.
It's a brand of something.
Raisin Bran. No, that's. I mean, does that have a theme song too?
I don't know, but I love some Raisin Bran, man. That's my favorite shit.
Dude,
That's my favorite
it's
cereal.
so good. All my friends look at me with disgust, but I don't know. I love
Breaking news!
And I know some people aren't into knockoffs, but if you're in a pinch, Kroger Raisin Bran's actually be a little better. Kroger Raisin Bran's like the BB7 Yes model of Post Raisin Bran. Yeah.
I'm gonna have to try that. Like right now, the cereal of choice is Frosted Mini Wheats.
Oh man, those are good too. I got a box of
Yeah.
those too.
Yeah.
I knew there was something about you, but that was all right.
You know, everyone here is kind of connecting, so that's good.
We haven't heard from
from
Greg.
you yet. Yeah.
Yeah, Greg.
Walter, it's your turn to talk.
Oh, I was too busy looking up at this nice chick. But, hello, y'all. Walter Young. You can catch me in Realm Collectors, Info Creep, and Hardcore Collectors. Whatever the hell else. Let's do this.
In post-production, I'm just gonna go over that and just be like, Greg Sullivan. Oh shit! Did you want me to use your last name?
I don't give a fuck.
All right, cool. I mean, I don't care if you guys use my last name. It's, it's not copywritten or whatever, so you guys are fine. So,
All right, Dakota Ray-Ban.
I think I actually got Skype to change it. I can't remember. Oh no! I remember now, and I'm not gonna say what it was.
Ray Bjorn.
Ray Bjorn. But yeah, so today we're gonna talk about the Dark Prelude to Dark Cybertron, or we're gonna attempt to talk about it, I guess. I mean, it's kind of strange. This whole like 5 issues of RID and 1 issue of More Than Meets the Eye. The 1 issue of More Than Meets the Eye. What's up?
Can we refer to it as Dark Sabertron for the rest of the episode, just to piss Spiros off?
Yeah. So, Prelude to Dark Sabertron. More Than Meets the Eye, I think got the better end of this deal, and not so much. Like, I think it really took away from some of the stuff that was happening in RID at the time, because this is like right after the big Megatron fight again, and Starscream was ruler supreme and all that other stuff. But it kind of picks up like looking at Shockwave, like what Shockwave's doing. I guess to be more precise, we're starting at issue number 17 of RID. And it's just Shockwave and what looks like a little bomber Megatron following him. And they're like running away from, like, I don't know, man. A lot of this story confuses the shit out of me, because I'm not sure if it takes place like after everything that went on in the last issue, or if it's during everything that was happening in the last couple of issues. Because like,
Yeah, it's happening concurrently with the battle in Icon.
yeah,
Because Dreadwing specifically says like, why are you dragging me away from the fight? This might be our greatest victory.
And the story is called Shockwaves. So, very clever. I like it. And to answer his question, Shockwave shoots him through the back and chest, where vital Cybertronian things are. And
Don't you guys think it was awfully coincidental that these two toys were on the shelf at the time?
were they? I thought Shockwave was part. I know, like, they were part of the same, like, Generations wave.
Let's be honest, that Shockwave was still on the shelf.
Okay, you
Yeah.
got me.
No, because Shockwave was Wave 1 with Drift and Fall Cybertron Prime, right?
No, Drift.
It wasn't
No,
Drift.
you're thinking 2010, my dude.
Oh, okay. I'm mixing.
Yeah, it
totally
was
different.
Fall of Cybertron Prime and Jazz.
Oh yeah, God.
All
I
white
put
parts
that-
look alike. I got it. Racist.
I put that Jazz out of my mind because I was a Jazz fan,
Mm.
and I mean I still am a Jazz fan, but I bought it and I was like, this is garbage, and I gave it to my my daughter at the time, who was then 4. I was like, here, honey, like,
So
don't chew on it.
I bought the
Yep.
Jazz, and I bought 3 of the side swipes. But the only reason I did that is because I wanted their hands. So if you guys want some handless Fall of Cybertron, Jazz or side swipes, hit me up. I got them.
2 for 20. Slanging them on the corner.
Yeah, man, it was it's one of those things. So yeah, so they were totally on toy shelves at the same time. And Dreadwing, I think, is this the first time we ever see Dreadwing in the comics?
I think so.
Yeah, so
Yep.
he's just
Mhm.
automatically like a big Megatron supporter. Loved the stealth bomber thing, so he got one of his own. Not at all to sell toys. Calvin Johnson, he's somewhere in this story. Isn't that who it is? Isn't that who they made the
Yep.
other Megatron?
Yeah,
Okay, yeah.
Megatron.
So, but then there's like a flashback, and you see Shockwave, just a gray, dull, like not at all the character that we were kind of introduced to in Shadowplay. And that's something I wanted to point out, was that he wasn't as vibrant. He was just a kind of mute gray, talking to G-Axis.
Yeah, pre his obsession with changing his color scheme every other issue.
Yes, seriously, that dude was vain.
It's funny because I think when Chaos Theory came out, like, he was orange and white and blue, and then he was red, white, and blue. So there was a lot of speculation that the Senator friend was Ultra Magnus. But then, we obviously know how that turned out. And I don't know if it was a nod, like the orange, white, and blue and the red, white, and blue. Because a lot of people have this fan theory that Dion from War Dawn, the friend of Orion Pax in the G1 cartoon, that got blasted. They're like, oh, he was rebuilt into Ultra Magnus, with no, obviously no supporting documentation whatsoever.
Just kind of assumed, and I don't even know. Yeah, I don't know where people even got that from. But I mean, I guess that's a conversation in and of itself. But anyway, through these various flashbacks, we see, okay, he got a little vain. Looks like they threw some red, yellow, and blue on him, so that's cool. But it talks about like how he was a student of Jahaxis at the Jahaxian Science University thing, and what have you. There's also some callbacks to Shadowplay, but I guess that's not like too important. Diatlas is apparently a pretty big role in Shockwave's history, this issue at least. And blah blah blah, a bunch of bullshit happens, and it goes after the whole Impurata thing, where they gave him claws and made him purple and made him a Cyclops, poor guy, and how Megatron had kind of approached him while he was going through all this, and after they took over not took over, but really just killed the Senate. Was like, here, man, I'll give you some hands. You want some new hands? I'm giving you hands. Needle Nose is just like, this is my third set. He's telling you the truth. And Shockwave was like, nah, my dude. Gun hand. And then a normal hand. So he used that hand to shoot Diatlas. And that was that. Like, it didn't kill Diatlas, but I guess because he was kind of like whatever. But anyway, so we go back to the present day.
Well, it's
What's up?
the thing with shooting Diatlas was he actually did it to wound him so that he wouldn't be present for the assassination of the Senate.
Oh, okay. I'll be honest, man. I just skimmed and looked at the pictures earlier, so I didn't read it.
Yeah, because it even says, like, in Shockwave's narration that there's some flaw uncorrupted by shadow play or experience, some last vestige of me that I had been. So it was like a mercy wounding. He respected Diatlas enough to not like let him suffer the same fate as the other senators. And dude, looking at this, I don't know if because all right, gonna take an aside, and I know a lot of people are overly critical of Livio Ramondelli's art, but you can't tell in this picture if he blew off Diatlas's legs or just like his shot him in the knees, because the smoke coming off of the knees is almost the same shape as the bottom of his legs. So I mean, hey, like the guy's got his own style. I completely respect that. Like the murky, dark watercolor, kindergarten
be honest,
age
man, like,
art project.
While we're kind of talking about Livio's artwork,
So.
I thought it was really fitting for kind of flashback moments in in the whole like dark prelude. Cool. It just to me it fit. I think it fit that, and we haven't talked about it yet, but like Autocracy and Monstrosity and Primacy, I thought his art style really fit those stories. So it
And like the Dead Universe stuff too that he did.
Because the overall tone of the book is really dark, so it definitely fits. But I mean, some things that happen in the issue. There's the interaction between Shockwave and who's this guy, because I get all the senators.
Does it really matter unless
up.
the senator was?
I think it's Proteus.
Throw that in. Yeah.
No, I guess not, because they all suffer the same fate. No, it's. I don't know how much James Roberts and John Barber collaborated with the overarching story of Transformers, but the senator picks up the projector and says, "Begone, you wretch," and it turns out to be an actual Transformer that he just tosses aside, and we see Shockwave in one of his emotional outbursts. Where the senators, I think it's Proteus, he says, the functionist teachings say that those with superior alt mode should reign over lesser beings, and Shockwave is like, no, we're all equal under Primus. So, and Proteus even makes the foreshadowing statement, like, such an emotional reaction is unbecoming of a senator.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure they did do a lot of, which at this point, let's see, that would have, I'm trying to remember when Shadow Play happened. That was like between books 5 and 10, wasn't it? Like pretty early on in the More Than Meets the Eye run.
Shadow Play was 9, 10, and 11, or
Okay.
10, 12, or 10, 11, and 12.
All right, but so at least a good like that stuff had already been established at the time that
Right.
that this particular issue was coming out. So I'm sure if there wasn't any collaboration, like obviously like they know what they're working on, they know what kind of each other was working on, at least back then when the books were kind of pitched as something to be sort of close knit with one another, and that I think was pretty cool that they did that. So you're like, oh yeah, I remember that from More Than Meets the Eye, which because we would never hear it the other way around, right? But but yeah, so I guess just kind of adding a little bit to that particular like backstory already. I mean, it was cool. Like it was a good read. I thought it was. I don't know how necessary it was, just because a lot of that story had already been told. Basically, like ultimately, like what happened in one book was Shockwave took Dreadwing into the middle of nowhere, where the Titan from the annual had showed up and shot him,
Mm-hmm.
and then introduced Ore 14, which was the resurrection ore, and it brought him back to life.
It was one whole issue just to establish.
Ore 14. that zombies are real in Transformers world.
Yeah, but I mean, it's cool getting all the backstory for Shockwave too.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, it also establishes the different ores, like the one that drove Cup insane, Ore 8 was. It created crystals of pure destruction. And then LV-117 was the time ore that was introduced in Spotlight Wheelie.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then which I think we talked about that the last time we covered RID. We had talked about, because it showed like Prime and Garnak and Wheelie and Hardhead, like how all that happened. Some more kind of backstory on that, which with
Spectro and Spyglass.
Yeah. So I don't know. I thought that was pretty cool. I did that. That is one aspect that I did like of these earlier RID issues, but it just the story wasn't like as even flowing, but I think it's because there was so much going on. I think they could have maybe, and it wouldn't have been worth it at all, but for at least half of the, I guess, first season of RID, they could have had 2 books kind of covering different things going on, in my opinion, instead of kind of splitting it up between the series, but that's just me. So at the same time all this shit's happening, Starscream has won the public's opinion, and he's kicking everybody out of town that has a badge on. So Autobots, Decepticons, if they wear a badge, like, get them out of here. And then his biggest competition now, because Metalhawk's dead. He killed Metalhawk, his buddy. His biggest competition is Scoop, of all people. And all he's doing is just like helping people. And I thought it was kind of funny because in this issue, I think it was this issue. Either way, like while all this is going down, he like Scoop is like showing his genuine like, no man, I'm doing this, because you inspired me to do this. Like, you're such a great dude. I appreciate you so much, Starscream. And Starscream's like, I don't like this. This guy's playing an angle. I'm gonna frame him for something.
I'm gonna frame him for murder.
So, and I think this is where we start to see a lot of Rat Trap too, which, as a Beast Wars fan, like at the time I was like, yay, Rat Trap, and then I saw Rat Trap's role and I was like, what the fuck did they do to Rat Trap? So I think a lot of people were just like, why is he a mechanical rat? Like, I don't care about that. Why is he
He had the toy to sell.
Yeah.
Hey, so Bumblebee, after Bumblebee got his face smashed by Megatron, he got rebuilt into a new gold body with a blue head, And
Gold
bug.
well, his Goldfire
Goldfire,
rebuild,
that's right.
which hey, another toy repaint.
Yeah, they were hot and heavy trying to sell those toys with these comics. But that was cool though. I always like it whenever like the toys match the comics or vice versa. It's just neat seeing it. Of course, it never lasts, but it's neat. I think it was a little too forced. And Greg, you talked last week about Hasbro getting their claws into things. I don't know. Like I feel like this was the start. Like this was the initial puncture wounds of that happening. But
oh no, I think the wound was wide open at this point.
you think?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like Goldfire, it's like, hey, we rebuilt him out of a Cybertronian body into a body that resembles his old Earth form.
Yeah, very similar to it, minus the stripes.
Well, thankful
stripes.
Thankful at this point, they were just raping RID, which is, in my opinion, always been the weaker book, and they were, for the time being, they were leaving more than meets the eye alone.
Yeah,
I still felt for the most part more than meets the eye was left alone up until like the actual crossover issues. We'll I guess we'll get to that whenever we get to it. But they were like,
yeah,
I
because
think for what it's worth, like they were on the outskirts of town too. Like they set up like little camps and stuff. Autobots are there. I guess they're cured now because no one's going crazy out in the desert. And the Constructicons are there just because obviously Prowl's there, and they're all like, Prowl, you're great.
yeah.
Wow.
I like how they wrote them as like they were Prowl's new fan club, because they're like, yeah, we got to peek inside your mind, and we love what we see.
Also, they were comedy there too, I think, So a little bit of any relief.
And RC was there, and like she was basically acting as like a bodyguard, but I think her Autobot symbol was either like scratched off or torn off or something like that. But they're like, hey, even the Autobots don't want you. I'm like, oh, that's a little rough. Okay, she's very emotional right now.
Well, she didn't have an Autobot symbol. She carved one with her sword.
Oh, she
and
did?
because she was with after Goldbug woke up, or Goldfire, they were talking, and she's like, I'm an Autobot. And she's like pointing to her fucking jailhouse tattoo, and he's like, okay, so anyway, and like, yeah,
rough time.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the Dinobots, like, of all people, come to RC's defense, and they're like, she's an outcast, just like us.
Yeah.
And then they all went drinking,
having a merry old time. Also, while all this is going on, Megatron, they're keeping Megatron and Wheeljack's little that floating orb of energy.
Force field. It's a force field.
A force field.
Some sort of force field, last time I checked.
It's the force field they snuck into his new body.
Okay, yeah. He doesn't look old, though, for someone who essentially got beat up, which is
Dakota, would you call it a stasis lock of some sort?
Yeah. I might call it a stasis lock of sorts.
Maybe you could call it an information creep.
Too forced.
Is it though? Is it really? Wheeljack so I don't even know why they threw in Wheeljack like at the end of that issue, which I've read like multiple issues of this fine, but it was all beat up still.
Oh, you're talking about the Starscream that's almost 90% internal monologue of Starscream. Like, I love the beginning of this issue where it starts with Metalhawk's body, and then there's a picture of right above his body of Starscream and Metalhawk looking all chummy. It's like, yeah, I know I killed you, but
Good times. or so I'm told.
And it's I don't know. It's like, why is the pedestal with Metalhawk's body surrounded by what looks like energy bars?
It just has like the little snacks, the little Energon goodies, because we saw some of that during More Than Meets the Eye, like the whole Tyrus thing, because wasn't it Rung that was handing out the little energy sticks?
Yeah, but I mean, these are like pillars going from floor to ceiling, like almost like roping off body.
Well, that was probably Starscream's doing. He's like, no, it's fine. I'll do the autopsy. I'm certified. He's like in there, like, carried around, making sure, like, do Cybertronians even have fingerprints? It doesn't matter. But that's probably all about.
Yeah, I like Starscream talking to Blur in his bar, just calling him out on his bullshit. He's like, just get out of my bar. You scumbag.
It's so funny whenever shit like that happens in Starscream too, because he thinks he's there, he thinks he's like fooled everyone, or he's on top of the world or whatever, and then someone always comes along and is like, nope, you're still a dick. So.
Because they can see through him. They know what type of person he really is.
Yeah. Also, while this is going down, something else is going down on the faraway planet of Gorlum Prime, where Jaxus is with Prime and Wheelie and Garnak or I guess Orion Pax, Wheelie and Garnak and their whole bunch, and they're still having issues with Monstructor, and this is where we see Waspinator for just the briefest of moments, and somehow, like, I really don't like why Waspinator just got this ability to like teleport, but I believe it was Jaxus and Bludgeon found Waspinator like in an off-world bar, and I think it has something to do with Waspinator and the Titans, or he can use he can activate the space bridges inside the Titans.
He can telepath.
Oh.
I think that's what he is. It's a telepath.
Or a city speaker or whatever. You think he's a city speaker or?
Yeah.
Huh. That's interesting.
Or no. Telepath. How you call that?
Telekinesis.
Yeah.
Telepathy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Telekinesis is moving shit.
Well, yeah.
Telepathy is communication.
Yeah, I think that's what he is a telepath. Rest.
God, have you guys ever seen Ghostbusters 2? Jeez.
Is that the? Have the Ghostbusters 2 yet, Greg? You know.
Dakota, I'm gonna have to ask you to leave.
Fucking mission accomplished.
So the way Waspinator got the ability to teleport is he was actually a Titan hunter for Megatron, and they actually came across the. I don't know if it's the specific Titan that we see in the annuals, but he attacked the Titan and hit it with his stinger, and he, like, some of the Titan's energy was drawn into Waspinator, and he gained the ability to basically teleport from that.
Okay.
So
yeah,
it
that
was,
makes sense. Using the. Okay.
It was an attack on Titan.
Oh.
Ha! Look at me, I'm a weebo.
No, you're doing good things, Greg.
I went to the little. I went side. The only reason I said that, we went to this little Japanese shopping center yesterday to get some food and kind of look around, and
the one with cat sushi.
Yes. Why am I sushi? Dude, that shit was awesome. I didn't think I was actually going to find it, and I found it. It was the last place I looked at it, but there was just this guy loudly talking to some woman about Attack on Titan and about how he reads the mangas and gets updates. And I don't know if he was hitting on her, trying to hit on her. Like, I don't know, but it was just like, it was really cringy. It was like there were Asian people there, there were fucking anime nerds there, and that was like the clientele that day of that shopping center. but it was just pretty funny. He's like, yeah, I'm big on Attack on Titan. I shouldn't even watch the show because I get updates about the manga, so I already know what's going on.
Oh,
and I'm
God
like, all right,
damn, that's cringy. Oh,
all right, guy. In the Japanese like fucking shop.
He's like,
But
hey,
anyway,
you want to get some
sorry.
Thai food later? I know this great place. That's actually served out of a truck. So yeah, so they trick Waspinator. They get Waspinator to trick Orion Pax into rising a Titan. Which this is around the time that I guess the Fall of Cybertron video game was still pretty fresh, and that whole Prime putting his hand on the ground and saying "Arise" is just gonna make it like God, dude, and we'll see it later, but he does that too many times, I think. Throughout
Dakota,
throughout the book.
You're breaking up really bad.
Really? What's it?
Just FYI.
Okay.
Dakota's T-painting.
You're Matt
man.
Baldwin.
All right.
Right now. You were kind of doing it, but it's getting worse, so I just wanted to let you know before we got too far.
Okay, cool. So reset. Where were we? We were talking about something.
We were talking about raising a Titan.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
raising a Titan, because that was kind of like the hot topic. And I think he did it way too much in the books, or yeah, in at least in RID at that point in time, in my opinion. Just because it was just the new thing that the video game did, and I think that was kind of popular, sort of, amongst some people. But essentially, he did it to try to help, to try to fight Monstructor. And after the Titan rose, Monstructor was like, "All right, Master, it's here. What do you want to do?" So there was I think that's whenever Waspinator ran into it and teleported it. And didn't it? Maybe I'm getting too far ahead for what we're wanting to do. But I think he teleported. Did he teleport it to Cybertron?
Yeah, I think this.
Is
Yeah,
that
this is the Titan that that Waspinator teleported to Cybertron that will play a pivotal role in a future storyline.
yeah.
So hey, the art in this issue, RAD 19, super jarring. Just the superhuman features on everybody, like the Titan, and Hardhead looking like a G.I. Joe. Yeah.
Wow, was that
he looks like-
was that Hardhead? I mean, it was obviously Hardhead, but yeah, that was kind of
Yeah, no, that's
weird on the
that's
eyes.
Hardhead. That's Hardhead looking like a space marine.
The only
Like,
good
just-
bug's a dead bug.
I don't.
Anybody? No? No one? Okay, there we go.
Yeah, Starship Troopers.
Yeah.
I'll take it.
All right.
I mean, I doubt that was the intention of the artist, but Wheelie's arm is dissolving after he touches something down in the ruins of Gorlin Prime, and Hardhead's solution is to shoot his shoulder so that the infection doesn't spread.
That's some World War Z shit right there, man.
Right?
Honestly, though, yeah.
Ugh. Don't get me started on that movie.
Yeah. It's pretty... I mean, well, that's basically like what we're kind of talking about here with the Dark Sabertron prelude stories. You've got... also, while everything's... all of this stuff is going down and has gone down, you've still got Shockwave and Dreadwing in the ruins of the buried Crystal City, where Shockwave has kind of set up shop, and coordinating with Jhaxus and all of that. I think this is where Bombshell talked to Soundwave. Was it Bombshell? Yeah, it was Bombshell. Bombshell talked to Soundwave about some of the shit that Shockwave was doing, And this is where I believe this is where Shockwave or Soundwave set off. Oh, dude, there's too many waves for this. I'm gonna keep fucking up. But anyways, this is where Soundwave left to go see what Shockwave was up to, and there was a lot of infighting with the Decepticons. Like, is this where they were trying to figure out like who was gonna kind of take charge after Ratbat died? Because I remember Astro Train and Blitzwing getting into a fight with Soundwave in the cassettes. But beyond that, I don't remember a whole lot.
Are you one? Or are you talking about IDW?
Talking about IDW.
Well, because I just came back to the conversation. Sorry, I had to go have a coughing fit.
Oh, it's fine. If you don't call,
I just remember Ratbat being the leader in G1 and being the most efficient Decepticon leader ever, to a fault.
But no, it's let's see. I think this is RID number 21, where.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I don't know why Soundwave and Blitzwing and the cassette tapes and Astro Train. I don't know why there was a bunch of fighting, but I thought it was funny because our boy Needlenose steps in. He's like, "Stop fighting!" That's how I imagine he said that. You know, like nothing bravado about it at all. He's like, "You guys tearing us apart."
Well, it's because Soundwave accuses Shockwave of being a deserter, and that the only punishment for deserting the Decepticon cause is death.
Oh.
So, and everyone starts fighting, and one thing before we move forward, there's an interaction between Shockwave and Geoxys, where Geoxys is getting all mushy, and he's like, "It's an odd feeling returning to this world after the years I spent." And Shockwave is just like, "Your feelings are immaterial." It's like, bitch, don't get mushy. Bitch, don't get mushy on the cusp of our plan.
One thing I want to point out before we get too far, page 5, that first panel with Bombshell and Ravage and Soundwave, dude, that art is really stressing me out. Like, that shit's bad. Like, I don't mind his art. I think it has a place. But, like, that particular panel is, like, to the point of triggering me.
I'm trying to scroll back to 5 on my end.
It's just Soundwave, and it's the one where Bombshell's saying, "Do run, do hide."
Oh, okay, yeah. Yeah, I don't think, like, the War for Cybertron, Fall of Cybertron kind of look isn't really his strong suit, in my opinion either. If it were those kind of like G1 designs, yeah, but yeah, dude, I see what you mean. This is pretty rough to.
And then his head on that next, like the third panel, the close-up of his head, and then the fourth panel is just weird. Well, the fourth panel actually looks alright, but the third one where it looks like his head looks like an old G1 combiner limb head.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where, like, it's the peg that pops in. I don't mind Livio's art. I really don't. And he's a nice guy. Like, I talked to him. We had a table next to him at the first TFCon in America. It's kind of... I meant to say this earlier, and you guys kind of moved on. I didn't want to, like, dwell on it. But, like, his art isn't bad, and it has its place, but it's kind of jarring if you're reading the collected editions. And, like, because it happens a lot. Like, you'll be reading, and then it'll be, like, you know, regular art. And then all of a sudden it'll be this art, and it's kind of jarring. And sometimes it works and has its place, sometimes it doesn't. But I will say his art looks great. Where did you guys at TFCon Chicago? I know Walter was.
In 14, I was there in 14.
What was the first one? Was that 13 or 14?
14.
It was 14.
Yeah. Did you see the metal prints he was selling?
Yeah,
it was the art printed on metal. Now that looked really fucking good.
Yeah, well, I mean, because it works. Like that's what it is. Like, I was talking to Tyler from Stasis Log not too long ago because he picked up the new what is it, the sequel to Redemption and Punishment, or is it called Redemption? The new Dinobot book.
It was Salvation.
Is it
Salvation.
Yeah, so
Salvation.
he picked that up, and he was just like, I really like Livio's art, and I was like, yeah, I mean, for a book like that, like, it totally works for like the kind of the and especially like with what we're talking about now in these like right here, like Greg, what you were talking, like on page, it doesn't fit because that's the current times, but whenever they have like a flashback, I think his art works really good. It's a grim retelling of something that happened or whatever.
Well, now isn't that a flashback though on that page? I got to get back. Yeah,
okay,
that was a flashback.
Well, see, it's kind of confusing because he's using those War for Cybertron designs.
Exactly.
And that's
exactly.
Like, I don't think that was his strong suit. If he would have used some of the older designs, like especially like with what he used in the Autocracy, Monstrosity, and Primacy series, like those designs, I think it would have worked. I just like this. I think we can chalk up to just like bad editing, because maybe he wanted to go for that, but they were like, no, make them look the way they are now. So I don't know, but but like Autocracy and Monstrosity and Primacy, those books, just reading those books, the artwork good and it's fitting, and he's phenomenal whenever he's got his own kind of book to work with.
Mm-hmm.
But here it's just super out of place. It's that scratched metal and it looks really cool, but to me it's out of place, especially whenever you go to page number 6 and we've got the modern, bright, vibrant colors and things like that going on. So.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I just wanted to point it out. Like I was kind of digitally flipping through, and that page came up, and like I just felt like it offended me to the point where I felt like I should say something.
It offends my senses.
Well, it kind of did. I was like, ugh. This needs to get called out.
I definitely, I definitely
anyway,
see it. We also see Acid Storm as a Tetrajet Seeker, a War for Cybertron Seeker, or whatever. I'm assuming that's Acid Storm. He's green.
Yeah.
So.
Which, missed BotCon exclusive opportunity.
Man, whenever in 2013, whenever they made those Seekers, I wanted them to use that Fall of Cybertron's Seeker mold so bad instead of that fucking Classics one. Just because I like it. I like that. That's a fun toy. I think it's a good toy.
Yeah. No, yeah, for the
welcoming committee or whatever they called it.
Yeah, they called them the Rainmakers, but they weren't the Rainmakers.
Yeah, it was Sunstorm, and then like the other, like just the two
Hotlink
and Bitstream, Bitstream,
yeah.
Bitstream, whatever.
BitTorrent.
BitTorrent.
I used that Fall of Cybertron mold. I don't do very many custom figures. I don't have the patience for it. But I did a Sunstorm out of that for a buddy, and I got pictures somewhere. It's probably on my Facebook. It's been a couple years. But, like, not to toot my own horn, but I think it looked good. And I think, like, in those colors. Like, I'm not saying I did a great job, but it looked good in those colors. And I think that, like, doing an exclusive set in those colors would have been neat. Because I did like that figure for what it was. I mean, I don't really collect that type of figure anymore, but it looked good. I mean, I think it would have made a good set with the those energy, like with the energy effects.
Yeah. Oh yeah. See, man, and that would have been right up their alley because that's those little additional paint apps that they were always like really, really good at utilizing. I feel like it was wasted on a Classics Seeker mold.
Or like some glow paint. Oh man.
Oh dude.
And have them have different colors, not all be like like in this picture, like of Acid Storm here, it's that Cybertronian purple, but like having like a color specific to the character. Like Sunstorm could be like a rusty red, because he's supposed to be radiation, right? So like a nice rusty like red or something like that, like an orangey red. I think that would look really nice.
Yeah, man, that shit would have been really cool, but Classic Seeker mold because. That's like printing money, but
it's like the MP Seeker mold.
Yeah.
Man.
Shout out to the BB7 DS models.
I got the Sunstorm in my hand right now. It's a great figure. It's better than the MP. And I got that clear purple one coming tomorrow too. I'm a fucking whore.
What is
think
that
I'm
one
gonna get the
supposed to be?
green
Is that one
Starscream
supposed to be
too.
like a warping sky warp, or is it just clear purple? Just to be clear
iGear
purple?
iGear did a clear purple one as like a limited edition, like exclusive for something. And since BB7 is iGear or part of it, like I think it's a quote unquote homage to that release, but in the MP11 mold. But considering BB7 in some aspect, some capacity is related to iGear or people involved with iGear at that time, it's just printing money. It's war homage, something we already made a bunch of money on. But
Makes
it just
sense.
looked too cool. It just looked too cool, man. Like these things are cheap enough. Like these BB7 Seekers are cheap enough that like I can fucking make a Seeker army at this point. Like why stop now? I already have 7. Like why stop buying them now?
Yeah, I mean you've got a point. It's only a matter of
And then
time before they make all the other ones, and I wonder if they'll ever do Nacelle or Nacelle or how one.
They're supposed to be doing every one from the wiki, like everyone, like
Oh
basically
really?
if you
Oh
look at
god.
the wiki list. Yeah, they're supposed to be doing
God.
every possible one.
So now we can have masterpiece color error seekers.
Well,
Like I want one in silver bolt colors.
well, they also, and it's under the radar. I didn't hear about it until I saw someone selling them. They did the original Starscream masterpiece colors,
Yeah, I saw that. Like
Yeah,
where
I
it was
just saw
gray
that.
instead of the
the
of
green
the white.
scream.
Yeah,
Yeah, and I kind of want to get that one and just have him be a random seeker.
I mean why not at that point?
Yeah, fuck
But,
it. Anyway,
we see-
addiction's
yeah.
a bit.
So
Speaking of addiction, sorry if you hear me crunching. I'm eating goldfish. I'm trying to put my mic up, but I
okay,
gotta
what kind of goldfish?
just regular.
Oh,
There was a Pepperidge Farm outlet in that shopping center we went to yesterday, so I got one of those giant ass cartons of goldfish for $5.
dude, there was it was the goldfish that had like the red trim on the bag. What were they? What were those? It was like not zesty, but they kind of had like a little bit of a spicy kick to. Oh, I used to eat the shit out of those in high school.
Dude, they had dessert goldfish. I didn't even know they made sweet goldfish.
Oh, like the
Wow.
the graham cracker ones and I love those ones.
It was
Okay.
like, they were like sweet flavors. It was weird. I'd never seen this before. The entire corner of the store was nothing goldfish. It was awesome.
Wow.
hmm
Nice.
They had organic goldfish, organic wheat goldfish. Color is from natural ingredients.
Oh yeah, I've seen those.
I'd never seen them, so I went in there. Anyway, I'm sorry. So if you hear me crunching, let me know. I'm trying to be like quiet about it, but I'm addicted to fucking goldfish. Any kind of cheese cracker, man. Anyway,
So,
Really good.
So after Neil Nose broke up the fight, we get a flashback to Chaos, where we get to see the Decepticon and Soundwave. I actually like this little bit here because Soundwave kind of gives a reason for the Decepticon to be possible, in that it like Galvatron was able to twist the loyalty of the Decepticons and use them to form Decepticon. And it talks about how there were only, well, initially he says there was only one who stood from the Decepticon, and that's Megatron. Oh, everyone all right there?
Sounded.
Are we good?
Yeah, I mean, I think we're good.
Okay, cool. And actually, like there's this one panel, and I can't tell what page it would be, but it's the panel where Megatron is standing on a pedestal and he's firing upwards through the Decepticon.
Yeah.
And it's a really good piece of art. Like I think Livio Ramondelli's art, his strength is broad pictures, not so much like detail oriented.
yeah.
Because I like this and it looks great. And it's kind of cool because Shockwave, he always talks about how he can hear heartbeat or their emotions, like everything vibrates on a certain frequency. And he's saying how he was part of the Decepticon. He could feel and listen to everything that was happening to all the ones that were part of the creature. And he says how he could feel their shrieks and their screams as Megatron was tearing them apart. And It's this little section right here is basically a love letter to Megatron, because he's saying
And they
because
damn robots writing love letters to each other.
yeah, and I mean, I'm usually the person who, like, anytime somebody like wants to ship characters together or something, I'm the first person to be like, you know, fuck it. It doesn't have to have any gay undertones or overtones or anything. And I mean, I'm not saying like a love letter like, oh, I want to have Megatron's babies, but it's like, I guess it would be like just showing his deep-seated respect for Megatron.
Yeah, I wasn't criticizing you. I was criticizing the shitty fandom.
Every day that goes by, I want to become a Transformers recluse and just enjoy my toys and my comics and my media without having to read any bullshit from anybody's mouth or keyboard.
Just kind of buy shit and like scurry it all away, like just not even deal with it.
You mean old Spiros Kenobi? That old hermit?
Yep.
God, I hadn't seen him in about 5 years. I heard he was out in the desert.
And they're gonna call me Steve, and I'll be like, Spiros. That's the name I haven't heard.
I was going to call you Steve Kenobi, but I didn't want to get too far away from your name, so that worked out.
No, actually, it's funny because when people ask me my name and I don't want to give them my real name because I don't want to go into, like, oh, it's very unique and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, yeah, it's Steve. It's Steve. Just
old Spiros Kenobi.
Like, just shut your face and get out of my face, and we'll go about. I love like how how Soundwave describes Megatron. It's like
in like a lot of his inner monologues. That's what a lot of like this issue and the next issue were about as a two-parter.
Can I slip something in just real quick? Because I actually forgot it in a prior episode we did, and I thought about it when we were talking about the ores, but I didn't say anything. And then when you said chaos, I finally I just want to say it. So going back to the ore, what was the cup ore 8?
Yes.
Yeah, let's say ore 8. Why not?
The one that presented itself as actual crystals. Because where are the other ores? Like, they don't have a physical representation.
13,
do they?
13 has crystals. The ones on Earth have crystals.
Oh, never mind. Then that blows my whole.
They actually all do. It's just what the crystals do.
Well, I was thinking about the cup. I was wondering how much of a callback it was to that episode, the season 3 episode, Chaos. I can't remember. I don't know if it was called Chaos, but remember, Cup was scared of only one thing, and it was the monster Chaos that produced the crystals, and the Decepticons were mining the crystals to power the gun. Yeah, and I was wondering how much that Spotlight Cup was a callback to that with those jagged green crystals. I wouldn't put it past Mr. Roche. You know, he's a very intelligent individual.
He's a deep guy.
That'll be $20, please.
Yeah, but I mean, it's just awesome. Like, and it kind of draws into question, like, okay, Megatron was able to not be part of the Decepticon. Like, was it because he didn't? Was it his force of will? Okay. Because, I mean, like, it's like, does he not really believe the Decepticon cause the way the Decepticons believe in it? Or, you know, is it just that he's such a huge personality that he's so forceful that he could resist the lure of the Decepticon?
He took on the Decepticon himself, and I'm going to say it was will. Because he was not going to allow somebody to control him or manipulate him in any way, shape, or form. And he took him out.
Dude, and I mean, like, he even said in the Chaos, he's like, this planet is mine. Like, and Walter, you're absolutely right. Like, it's probably just sheer force of will and determination that Megatron wants everything for himself. So,
well, that's been a common theme in recent Transformers media too. Like, in the video game, the War for Cybertron, as well as Transformers Prime, like his overcoming the Dark Energon because of the force of will of not becoming the Decepticon. Even in the movies, like things like that stupid bullshit in Age of Extinction, where he wills himself to become Galvatron, like that whole shit. Like that's kind of a theme they've been using. I don't know if G1. I don't remember in G1 it being such a thing. Like I don't remember if it was such an overt. But then G1 too didn't really have the level of storytelling that recent Transformers media does. So
G1 cartoon, he was just a cookie cutter villain. You know, like to me, in my respect, and I know I've just blasphemed in the eyes of so many do-hats, but you know.
Yeah, even in like that transition from Beast Wars to Beast Machines, I mean, that was kind of like a force of will thing where he managed to conquer, even though the last time you saw him, he was in a very compromised position, strapped to the front of a fucking shuttle. But anyway,
You know, of all the you know, you just kind of bringing that up. I just wanted to like sidestep real quick because I love Beast Wars, and I even like Beast Machines a lot too. But of all the comics that were like, and it was mostly convention comics that were kind of focusing on like the background of what was happening during that whole Beast Wars Beast Machines thing. Not one of them could have been like, here's how it happened. Well, actually, I take that back. I think they did that with Ape Link's War Journals. Like, I can't remember exactly what it was, but like they never really properly touched on it. But yeah, anyways, whatever.
Okay, so so I can wrap up my monologue on this whole thing. Soundwave also mentions there was another who stood apart from the Decepticon, and it's saying how like Shockwave's singular vision is like so complete that he could never be part of the Decepticon. And I mean it's really cool because it kind of establishes that like Shockwave, and it kind of calls back to issue 17, like Shockwave doesn't believe in the Decepticon cause. It's all a means to an end for him.
And that shit will get you killed because there is a Decepticon Justice Division out there.
mm-hmm.
Yes, there is.
And at which point, like, you know, that's something, you know, and we may talk about it later, we may not. Like, we'll probably forget about it by the time we get to a lot more of that DJD stuff. But like, that's one of those, you know, with how Soundwave is like right now in current comics, I don't think he would have ever made it onto the list, you know, because he was about the cause. It wasn't.
Yeah.
You know, it wasn't just.
Well, it's cool because
one thing.
It's cool because Shockwave, you know, he talks actively about the oppression of the Primes, and like the Decepticons really truly believe that the Cybertronian society was broken and, you know, that the Primes were evil, which, I mean, as we get further into the storyline, you know, we get to see how shitty the Primes were.
Yeah. and
Was it?
Good.
No, it wasn't. Not trying to go off topic or anything. Wasn't at a time that Dreamwave during that time period? Weren't they going to go that route there too? Or how corrupted the Primes were back then?
I'm not.
Yeah, I don't know.
Sure,
because this is a whole different like writing team than from that kind of Dreamwave to Phase 1 IDW era. You know, a lot of that Phase 1 IDW was a lot of Simon Furman stuff in that, and he did a lot of stuff for Dreamwave. So, I don't know. I mean, it's always a possibility.
Hey, are you guys reading along by chance?
Yeah.
Spiros, issue 22, page 4.
Good.
Hang on.
But in issue 21, I like the in-universe explanation for Dreadwing's body. Shockwave says. Shockwave says you wear it to honor our fallen leader. It's like, oh, well, that's clever. All right, where am I at? Issue 22.
I'm laughing because Greg just pointed it out like so subtle. Just issue 22, page 4. Oh God, that's our favorite scene. But real quick on issue 21, just something I want to touch
Wait,
on.
is it where Soundwave
You know what
unleashes
it
all
is.
the minions?
Oh, you know what it is.
You
He's
know what
he's
it
calling
is.
Ratbat a cab after that tape rape.
It is the tape rape scene.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I like issue 21. I like that scene where Dreadwing gets to jump on Soundwave, and then he says his name, Dreadwing, and the only thing missing was a TM at the end.
Oh, you're not wrong. But with issue 21 and 22, because it is definitely a two-parter. I like and this is kind of where we see, like, this is before I get too far, since we are on page 4, this is where Livio's work really shines. Because he's drawing them in these older designs. Granted, Shockwave does kind of look like a hybrid between G1 and Fall of Cybertron, but it's definitely these more blocky G1 looks, and for this flashback scene, and it works a lot better than when he was using those War for Cybertron designs on like that one page. But I liked a lot of the showing the history of Soundwave and Shockwave and how they've essentially been pretty close, but also not as close. You know what I mean? Like, keep your friends close, keep your enemies closer kind of thing. Or keep your enemies closer. All the while they're fighting each other, killing each other, and reliving.
Yeah, and I like how they show Shockwave and Soundwave collaborating on the body design for Megatron.
Yeah.
And I like how Soundwave projects the body design. Like it almost seems like a kid showing like his mom his art project. He's like, he requires a new body. I have one designed, and then Shockwave's like, I can improve it.
They're always like sizing each other up. But like meanwhile, like while all this is going down in present day, Soundwave keeps killing Dreadwing, who keeps killing Soundwave, who keeps killing Dreadwing, and he like releases the tape. So like, remind you, they're surrounded by Ore 14, so no one's really dying. They're just like, it's like they're dying, but all of these like fatal wounds are healing up. So there's that on too. And this I thought was we'd already seen, like, we saw a flashback of Soundwave, like whenever he was trapped in cassette tape mode on Earth, and Shockwave was walking up to him like, hey, I can get you out of your predicament if you get me out of my predicament, and how Ravage was the one that was kind of guarding Soundwave, like how tight they were. Mm-hmm. And to give you this is page 11. Ravage, makes a jump at Shockwave here in present day, and he blows a hole through him, and Soundwave just like complete, which I think shows a lot of like their relationship, and we'll see that definitely some more later on, maybe in a different book, but I don't know. I thought it was cool.
If you look at this page and then you go, it's just page 8. And look at that panel where he shoots his little rockets at him, and then you go to page, 14? And he shoots the same rockets at him again. The org also gives you unlimited ammo. Doom cell.
Nice.
Because you can shoot the same rockets over and over and over again.
Dude, that's the ultimate, like, that's a really good cheat code to have, like, in real life. Like, I'm always going to reheal and unlimited ammo.
That's that Rick Grimes code.
Grimes code. It's true.
That's that shooting 20 zombies with a revolver.
Isn't that a 6-shooter? Shut up, Coral. But, other than that, I mean, it's basically just a stalemate. Like, there's more kind of backstory, but ultimately, like, I think Mo is just kind of irrelevant.
Well, actually, I mean, to counter your point, There's a lot of kind of retconning slash
That's
continuity
why I said it was
fixing.
irrelevant. But no, go ahead.
No,
Go ahead. No,
I mean,
it does need to
but
be
like-
talked about.
But like they explain how Devastator came to be, or how they started laying the groundwork for Devastator because Megatron's talking to Shockwave and he tells him that he wants a combiner like Monstructor except for controllable, and it's just like the interplay between Shockwave and Soundwave is pretty cool because Soundwave says that like Shockwave is almost invisible to him. It says like his face he was blank, where he can't get a good read on Shockwave at all. So it's kind of interesting that Shockwave, is unique in the, pretty much in the world of Transformers, that Soundwave can't read his thoughts or his emotions, and it's kind of cool. It's kind of cool because going back to issue 21, because I'm still there's a lot of meat in this issue, honestly, because it kind of flashbacks to the spotlights of Shockwave and Soundwave, and Shockwave says that he'll free Soundwave from his alt mode lock.
That's what I talked about 10 minutes ago.
Okay, but did you mention Regenesis?
No, I didn't mention Regenesis.
Oh, okay. All right. Thanks, Dakota.
Oh, see.
Just got put in your place, Dakota.
Yeah, dude. Fuck me, right?
That's what you get.
No, but
Loud as
it's
hell,
kind of cool
Speaker.
because it's kind of cool because he's saying like Soundwave will disable the bomb in Shockwave's head, and he's like, but tell me about this little thing called Regenesis, huh? And Shockwave is actually caught off guard. He's like, okay.
So
But-
you know.
So, okay, you read my texts. No, I don't know. These issues were really kind of, I don't know. They stood out to me as really cool because they delved into the backstory of Soundwave, even, which I don't think we've gotten to. But
We're close.
where were we before
Before we do
Before-
that, I think we're basically at the end. Like Shockwave essentially just lets Soundwave and his tapes go. Dreadwing's kind of perplexed as to why, and Shockwave's like, "Well, you big idiot, no one can die here." So he's like, best not delay the inevitable any longer. And Jaxus pops up on one of his monitors. He lets Shockwave know. He says, "Your Titan is preparing. Orion Pax and the others are on Gorlum Prime, which is being consumed by the Death Ore." And I'm going to put a little asterisk by that because that's going to play into what we talk about on the next issue of Information Creep. But Shockwave was like, "Yet they live," asking, and Jackson said, "As you asked," and that's whenever Shockwave made the comment. I thought this was baller as hell. He said, "I did not ask, I commanded," and that's whenever the Titan kind of teleported in. But then we get another flashpoint that you were about to refer to, I believe.
which is where we kind of get the origin of Soundwave and his minions coming together.
Yeah, and I like it because it starts off with how he basically was. It showed it was Ratbat, because Soundwave's kind of the liaison for Ratbat, and he talked about, he's like, I hated him, I hated that dude so much. So would that make that tape rape a hate crime too?
That was hate tape.
A hate tape rape, yeah.
Hate tape, right?
Hate tape rapes. So, which...
One thing I want to agree with something, and this sounds kind of petty. This is almost a final, as it were, for this whole prelude, but I just wanted to say it now while I'm thinking about it. I agree with Spiros, and I think you said it too, Dakota, that there's a lot of, like, Spiros said meat, but there's a lot of good information. Like, there's a lot of good stuff going on in these books, and a lot of good backstory, and, like, I always forget it because I know it's petty, but I think because these were packed in with those shitty, like, with those toys, like, I think it cheapened it a little bit for me. Like, I think when reading them, like, I was like, oh, you know, because these are, like, the height of toy commercial for the time, for the toy line. But, yeah, there's some good stuff. Like, Shockwave and Soundwave are two of my favorite characters, like, of any series. Like, so it's nice to get some good backstory. And it kind of sucks that I kind of dismiss these books and forget how good they are just because of that.
I've always thought of them...
And that's saying a lot, because I hate R80s. So that's saying a lot to say these are good books.
I've always thought of them, too, as, like, Megatron's dynamic duo. Like, in all forms of media. Like, and especially, like, in Transformers Prime. Like, I was watching that the other day, and I was like, oh, my God, I need to add this into the loop of shit that I watch 3 times a year. Because I forgot how good it was. And I liked... For the most part, even though Soundwave was a mute the entire series, but I don't know. I've always liked the way that they've both kind of been characterized. But going into essentially how Soundwave found his minions, I thought that was probably the most dynamic of the storytelling for this particular deal.
Yeah, like Buzzsaw, Laserbeak, and Ravage are kind of outlaws, renegades, and this is the beginning of whatchamacallit. I don't know, like later on in the series, Laserbeak and Buzzsaw almost get a you know the old Muppet guys, Sattler and what's the other guy's name? Somebody help me out.
Hold on.
You know, the 2 old Muppets who are always talking shit and making wisecracks.
Yeah.
Like later on in RID / just Transformers, like they almost get this Sattler and
Waldorf
persona, and it seems like it just started like right here on this panel because one of them goes, "No, you didn't." Like.
Well, I think and just how their commentary on whatever someone else is like saying or doing at that time. Because Ravage is just like, I said, no, you do it yourself. I'm not going back there today. But they kind of just walk up on this lonely bot, like just fucking like
freaking out.
Yeah, like, dude, he is on a bad trip.
Well, it's like it's cool because that Ravage even mentions the Institute.
Yeah.
Because like Soundwave obviously is an outlier. Like he has abilities outside of his function, and he even says it sounds, lights, taste, smell everywhere. So many. Like he's getting information overload to the nth degree. And he can't handle it, and then Ravage actually teaches him how to focus.
Right, kind of helps him in that moment, and which is, that it shows why I think that relationship is so important, and something to for anyone I guess who hasn't like caught up on comics or hasn't read them in a while, it's very important to keep that in mind. The Soundwave Ravage sort of dynamic,
the bond that they share.
Yeah, because there's
and it's. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No. I was just gonna say it's just keep it in mind.
Right, but I mean, even right here at the very last page, Soundwave says, "Ravage saved me that night," and I mean, it's cool and not to cheapen it, but I always have to look at shit from a comedic standpoint and kind of a sarcastic standpoint. It's like when you rescue a dog from the pound, and it's like, I didn't just rescue Rusty that night. Rusty rescued me from the light. But I mean, it's really interesting because you like every iteration of Soundwave, he is like cool, collected, almost that like emotionless, foiled or not foiled, like he's almost like Shockwave, and he's almost emotionless, and he's just this cool, collected, like never stepping out of his comfort zone character.
You never really see him lose his cool. Like if you do, it's very seldom.
Right, and to see the origin that they gave him here, which and honestly, that's another thing. Like for RID being very lacking in the engaging storytelling, like issues 21 and 22, right up before Dark Cybertron, John Barber hit a stride.
Oh yeah.
With these issues, and it's kind of a shame because that all kind of got thrown out the window with the Dark Cybertron crossover event. But that wraps up our RID God, I can't talk. Sorry, the RID portion of the prelude, and we get to move on to Greg from Mercy's favorite issue ever, the Super Awesome.
Are we doing this at the end?
Stop eating goldfish, Greg, and get on the mic.
No, well, yeah. What were you saying, Dakota?
I was just gonna say no. I was gonna say, Greg, this is your time to shine. This is we saved this for you.
Well, I kind of feel like it's kind of past its time here. I mean, this was like 2 episodes ago, but
nah, it's still a Dark Prelude story. I think it's the only Dark Prelude story. Yeah. It
is.
All right, let me bring it up. It's Little Victories. It's issue 22.
Yep.
If I'm not mistaken, and it's at the time it was my favorite standalone. More the Meets the Eye story, just because I like the way it was set up, like one of those filler episodes on a sitcom when they're about to do something, and like they've got one episode that's kind of like they gotta kill one episode. Yeah, so it's a clip show, and I thought it was done very well. Oh, hold on 1 second, let me bring it up.
It's kind of funny because I'm a huge fan of the sitcom Scrubs. And they even make a meta joke in that clip episodes exist because the writers were too lazy to come up with something new, so they just recycled a bunch of old footage. And I kind of felt like issue 22, even though like it does provide a little bit of prelude for Dark Cybertron, it was kind of like that, like. James Roberts is like, oh geez, I wrapped up the season 1 too quickly, and now I have 1 episode before Dark Cybertron.
Oh, but it totally worked. As soon as we start talking about like the intros, there were I like just about all of them, but there's a couple that just really stand out to me.
Well, first, that cover with Swerve trying to figure out how to transform his rung toy, which plays into the story, and he's got the G1 instructions. Because a common theme throughout this is them trying to find out what rung transforms into.
And then there's another cover with your number one fan.
Yeah, which kind of reminds me of Mortal Kombat. The Johnny Cage friendship from Mortal Kombat 2.
Yeah.
But and there's a third cover that has I can't think of some tracks on it, and that's the Generations toy line specific cover. That was for the pack-in, because this issue came with not Swerve, Skids.
Does this one come with Skids?
What did I say? Tracks?
That's so strange.
No, it came with Skids. Yeah.
The way they packed that in, but I mean, yeah, whatever.
Yeah, because I got it framed up on my wall.
All right, so reset.
So it's kind of cool. Like, it starts off they're doing introductions, and you can almost see it like play out like if it was on like the TV. So it would be like Rodimus, and he's like introducing himself, and then it would black out kind of quickly, and then come back into Ultra Magnus, and then it would go back to Rodimus, and then it would blackout again, and then like the title would pop up, Little Victories, and it would be like, what's that show, Modern Family? Don't they do that when they have the title cards like that kind of thing? And then you got, they're talking, whatever. And you've got your little things where like Magnus. Oh, where is it? I'm trying to find it. So I guess the first one is Cyclonus is like, I'm not a Decepticon, and he's like, I want that on screen. So every time every time you see Cyclonus on a panel, it says not a Decepticon at the bottom.
My favorite intro though, like that was one of them, but the other one was the one with Whirl. He said it's Whirl, spelled click, choom.
Yeah, and all with Brainstorm's like, weapons engineer, and according to Perceptor, ship's genius. And he's like, are you interviewing him too? And then he's like, Brainstorm, I told you to stay out of my lab. It's just really well done. Like, it's just a really good read. And, like, the beat of it, the flow is just, like, once you pick up on, like, what they're trying to accomplish, like, at least when I read it, like, once I picked up on what it was supposed to be, like, the beat, like, was just perfect in my head, like, reading through it. Go ahead. I was just going to say, like, the parts with Magnus and, like, they're talking and he kind of takes Rodimus aside, and then all of a sudden it's, like, footage removed by order of the duly appointed Enforcer of the Tyrestor Cord.
He's going to make it something stupid. Like, or he's going to make it to where, out of context, it seems really stupid. And we see it a couple more times throughout the book.
And then you see, like, audio soundtrack censored by order of the duly elected Enforcer of the Tyrestor Cord. And then it goes back with the Ammonites, like, it touched on them in a previous issue, and it goes back over them, because they're going to be part of Dark Cybertron.
The Ammonites and a Terradors or something like that?
Yeah. In fact, is it this issue that they do it?
Yeah. This is where they explain how the Ammonites are the big one-uppers.
Yeah, but is it this issue where they're like, come to find out they were the heroic whatever, and the evil Ammonites and the heroic Terradors. Yeah. Little did we know at the time.
And Whirl just ends, 16 million years of their war in Lodoba Bar.
Right, yeah, because it's like we've been at war for 4 million years. You 16 years, 16 million, 16 million years. That's ridiculous. That's a ridiculous number. Like Skid's reaction is golden.
Like, yeah, we're combiners, or it's like we have combiners. It's like we're all combiners. We're combined right now.
Omni combiners or something like that. They can, and then like how many different modes do you have and. They were like, well, we know a guy that has 6 modes, and they're like, oh, that's adorable. Like, we all have 12 or some shit like that.
I love how Whirl can't even name off all the modes, because he's like, I once went toe-to-toe with the Six Changer. He's like, jet, beast, tank, gun, and something else I can't remember. And they're like, we've got Decabots, 10 modes each. That's basically 6, the most your race can do, plus 4 more. Like, just the writing in this is top notch. Like, this is like when people talk about how great More Than Meets the Eye is, like some of the best writing is in this issue.
Why do some people hate the writer, James Roberts? I don't get why is there hatred for him?
It's funny because whenever these people go on these tirades on social media, they always say, "Oh, I don't want to get into it right now."
I just don't have time to tell you why I hate him. Oh yeah.
Yeah, I don't get it. Why is this hatred? To me, it's just straight up. It's just straight up stupid.
If you don't want to read it, don't read the book. So what's up?
Yeah.
So another one of my favorite parts of this particular issue was during the theme night at Swerve's. People you'd like to punch.
But just real quick, just one thing I was going to say it, and then we were talking about hating James Roberts, which is completely irrational. I agree. There's some foreshadowing in here in that part where, like, off-panel Rewind is like, "Are you happy?" and everyone's answering, and you get to Brainstorm, and he goes, "Soon, not yet, soon." And it foreshadows. Yeah. I mean, what was it, like 2 years after this issue came out? Like, you get to that Brainstorm bit. And it's
Yeah.
like just like James Roberts' writing, like just setting things up is fucking.
Oh, dude,
But
he
anyway.
plays the long game.
Hmm.
And then it's like he does it boldly because like you never know, whenever one day that plug's gonna get pulled, you know. So there's so much stuff now that like say they came to him and they said, all right, James, you got 6 months to a year to wrap all this shit up. Like you're gonna see a lot of like very rushed Lost Lights issues, I think. But theme night at Swerves, like Rodimus has basically a bucket on his head, and he was like, the theme was people you'd like to punch. And he's like, I was a lone Megatron in a sea of whirls. And
And then the theme night before that was alt mode party.
Yeah, the alt mode party where Rung is just like, how do you reach your drinks?
But then the reason Rodimus was there is because Blaster was like, oh, we're being hailed. Someone wants to come on board, and Rodimus was like, oh, him. And Magnus was, I think, the funniest one. It just shows him talking. He's like, a fine Autobot, very firm handshake, very straight badge. I thought.
Yeah, like everyone's a fan except for Rodimus. Even Cyclonus, like I was impressed. It's like, yeah, you want to hate him, you just can't.
You see, like as soon as you see his name, THUNDERCLASH, like the biggest letters on the screen.
Yeah.
Oh, I like skits too. Just that one caught my eye too. And he's like, I heard. This is just what I heard, but I heard Omega Supreme goes to him for advice.
Yeah, like he's the Chris of Autobots.
Yeah, basically.
They say whenever I can't remember. I don't know if I'm exactly at the part yet, but about the Matrix, like whenever Prime was being rebuilt or re something, he was getting like a tune up, I guess, or whatever. Like they gave it to THUNDERCLASH for safekeeping. They said they had to surgically remove it. It's like it didn't want to leave him.
Yeah.
I thought that was hilarious.
Yep.
I love when Ultra Magnus meets THUNDERCLASH, and he's like he's trying to keep his composure, and he's like I was already a huge fan of your work as Tyrus Most Trusted, and then I read your article on the Autobot Code, the one on typefaces, and he's like, bravo, sir, bravo. I had considered myself an expert on the interrelationship between typography and military justice, but you took it so much further. And then it's like, he just embraces him.
Oh, dude, that was a straight up hug. That was a, like, both arms.
Yeah, it's funny because THUNDERCLASH is like everything to everybody. Like, he's a spiritualist, so he can be all hippy dippy with Drift, and spectralist,
Is
and
that
then
the call of the wavelength?
Yeah,
and then Ratchet
and then Ratchet's so happy to see him because like Ratchet is never happy to see anybody. Yeah, and he taught Ratchet everything he knows, like.
And then THUNDERCLASH says, "Oh, just looking for the Knights of Cybertron," and Rodimus flips shit.
But
Yeah, he's
on
like,
his little off panel, he's like, I thought I handled myself considering.
Oh, what? That's my quest. Our quest. That's our quest. Like you just.
Yeah, this issue does really read like an episode of Modern Family or a show like that, where they have like the little like almost like reality TV style little setups as to what's happening with the actual people involved, like in between the scenes. Like it's just really well done.
Yeah.
But anyway,
Come to find out,
I'm sorry.
THUNDERCLASH has a traitor amongst his ranks. Like after Rodimus is just kind of showing off, and it was it one of the Ammonites or was it one of the Terradors?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, Ammonites.
No, it's the Ammonites, and yeah, they're like, we're not a Decepticon, and THUNDERCLASH is like, we? And it's like, we're Ammonites.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this is where Skids reveals, like, turns out the Ammonites that we met on Hedonia weren't actually that nice. The evil Ammonites and the heroic Terradors.
That's what everyone
That's what they
calls
called them. Apparently. Yeah.
Like
They call back obviously to the evil Decepticons and the heroic Autobots.
Meanwhile, like Swerve's still trying to get Rung to change it to his alt mode, and like that's the deal. Like, you know, the bet was whoever finds it out first without directly asking. So that, you know, that's why there was an alt mode party at Swerve's and all that other stuff. So they find all this going on, and Swerve's just like, oh man, we have to do something, and you know, he was like, you know, like what? Or no, yeah, Rung said we have to do something. Swerve was like what? I'm the second weakest person on the ship, and you're the first, and we're both comprehensively unarmed. And that's when Rung says, perhaps not. And then you see Swerve just like thwunk the back of this Ammonite's head with a orange-shaped bludgeoning device, and that's whenever we find out what Rung is.
And he knocked him into components, if you notice.
Yeah, they all just fell apart like a G1 episode where Devastator gets like punched so hard he falls into his component Constructicons.
Well, it makes sense. You know,
but
they're on conscience. Well, we see what the card, the ID card that the Functionist gave Rung, and he was an ornament. They made a new classification just for him because they couldn't figure out like, what he was for.
They also spelled his name wrong.
Oh, wrong, yeah.
wrong of the Pious Pools.
That's hilarious. That's the first time I've noticed that.
I don't know if they were setting something up, if Roberts was setting up a long game, or if it was something he decided to revisit when he was trying to think of new ideas. But they talk about all the tests and all the functionists and the wrong, you know, the alt mode, blah, 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 blah. And then, like, as you get into Lost Light, like, when they go to the alternate universe and you see the alternate rung, like, that's a really big part of the story. Mm-hmm. So I don't know if that was playing the super long game or if it was just something he was like, hey, I can go back and talk about this some more. I think it's more the latter in this case, but
yeah, I think those seeds were planted like during that particular story arc. Maybe not so much this, but come to find out, it was basically all of this was a recruitment video that Skids was showing everyone in the entertainment suite on Luna 1, trying to recruit some of the Circle of Light guys. And they all hated it.
Yeah,
you guys are jokes.
I love it that he says for missionaries and intellectuals, you're a pretty rough crowd. You know that?
Yeah. And they were like, all you guys do, like, you guys have made zero progress. All you do is just joke around and, you know, and all this. Like, essentially, like, the reason we've been enjoying these books, but, you know, but obviously, like, it kind of, like, as a reader, it brought me to the realization, like, oh shit, they're not, like, nowhere close to this whole Knights of Cybertron thing, which caught me like a good mystery. Yeah. So.
But I like how the Circle of Light member says that everybody is cracked in the head.
There's not a normal bot among you. Which is true. I mean, that's what More Than Meets the Eye was. It was like all the scraps and the C-list characters. And, I mean, you look at Swerve. Swerve had one sentence in all of G1. Skids wasn't even in G1 outside of a comic, was he? He wasn't even in the show.
Yeah, he was in one episode.
Yeah, he was in one episode.
Two episodes.
Skids was?
Yes.
Yep.
Triple Takeover and the one that dealt with the... I want to say, God, what episode is that? It's a insecticide. I'm trying to remember the episode, but he was in season 2.
Oh, Plague of Insecticons?
Yeah, but I think that was the early beginning of season 2, late season 2.
I think that's the name of the episode with the insecticide. Okay. Maybe I'm wrong.
But Triple Takeover, he was in it.
Oh, you're right. He was. You're right.
And
go ahead. Sorry.
And in the old Marvel comics, they made him like a daydreamer or something. So, but in IDW, they made him a big time player, which was cool. So,
yeah.
I like the Circle of Light member recruitment tool. Your little film has worked wonders, and Skid's like, it has, and it's like, yeah, we just have to hope we're not too late to get in touch with THUNDERCLASH.
Oh yeah.
And then the auditorium empties.
And then you kind of have your little wrap up, like, you know, everyone's kind of talking about like their, you know, like experiences so far, at least within the film. Like, you know, Drift's got his you know, theory that they are the Knights of Cybertron, and Chrome Dome can finally make the pff sound, and yeah, so you know, it was just a really nice little wrap up. I do like this, and you know, Rewind is just like, you know, don't care where it stands, you know, group shot, you know, whatever. So you get a nice group shot of basically all of the characters that played very prominent roles in Season 1 of More Than Meets the Eye. You got Swerve, Rewind, Tailgate, Rung, Whirl, Brainstorm, Cyclonus, Rodimus Magnus, Chrome Dome, Ratchet, First Aid, and Drift. So
I'm gonna use this picture as my Sunbow chart for any arguments about toy scale going forward.
Oh God!
Actually, want to know something? Wait a minute. You might want to correct that because everybody else is using the Sunbow. They need to start really using that.
But that's what I'm saying, Walter. This is my Sunbow chart for IDW.
For scale.
Like anybody who complains like Rodimus is too big, Cyclonus is too big, Brainstorm's too short, you know, this, that, or that. I'm just gonna be like, no. Last page of More Than Meets the Eye issue 2. Check it.
Dude, if I were you, and I don't know why guys don't do this by knowing Harley does this, I would pull out those old Marvel Transformer Universe books. There's your scale books right there. That's really where it's at. It looks just like the
man, like talking Transformers and scale though, like that's
Yeah.
that's just a fucking nightmare.
That gets to be old.
It's
Yeah,
a
I
fucking
mean,
rabbit hole.
I hate it. I hate when these guys do when Dakar puts out something new. It's like, really? Who cares about scale, man? It's supposed to be about enjoyment.
Even the Beast Wars kind of fan groups, like we even kind of have some disagreements here. It's nowhere near as bad as that whole G1 Sunbow thing, but it's still there, you know. But it's just,
That's
you know,
why I'm shocked at times that people don't know the old Marvel Universe Transformer books. I'm like, they did 4 books. You mean to tell me someone cannot pull those books on out and say, well, here's your scale right here?
Here's your scale.
Like when I was a kid, like I read the comics and watched the show, but like the comics were so much more engrossing. Like I had those, Walter, I had those universe books where it has a picture of each guy in their robot mode and alt mode, and then it's got their whole bio written by Bob Budiansky. So I mean, yeah, those. So like when anyone wants to talk about, you know, this guy's character in G1, and I'm like, okay, Prowl in the G1 cartoon was a yes man. Like he didn't. It's like he didn't do shit. It's like I love like people like, oh, the G1 cartoon was so much characterization. I'm like, Prowl didn't do shit except for say yes Prime, yes
Prime.
Yeah, yes Prime, and then he blew red smoke out of his mouth. That's all he did. Like,
but what type of smoke was it? Well, we ain't gonna go there. I ain't going there. Not going.
I don't think he inhaled anything prior to.
Yeah,
definitely not recreational.
Prowl was operating the shuttle to Autobot City on Earth under the influence.
I mean, yeah, I don't get that.
He was dirty even in G1. Okay.
Okay, let's now. Yeah, we're just gonna make our own headcanon for the G1 characters.
Yeah.
No, I mean, Dakota's right about something. I don't get how people can just do scale with Beast Wars. The cartoon was there, and it's like it just gave you everything else you needed.
Well, I mean, there was like it depends on the scenes, you know, obviously, and that's how it was in G1 too. It's just less obvious in Beast Wars than I think it was with G1. because there's not a bunch of different characters. You know, you don't have to worry about animation errors and things like that. It was all CG. But fortunately, and it's just like it's the scale that I go by, is Mainframe released some posters of all of the CG models on backgrounds at a BotCon back in the day. So that I've always viewed that as like the official like scale model for Beast Wars. But again, there's only like 13 characters, so it's not that hard compared to 800 characters in G1. So
Yeah.
Well, Masterpiece Beast Wars toys should all be legend sized if you want to go by scale.
Hush.
I mean,
if we're going by the episode where Primal found Prime's body on the Ark, they should all be legend sized.
You know, as long as they have like badass articulation and the same transformation, like I don't give a shit anymore. Like, but they've already done it. You know, I've already got a Voyager-ish sized Masterpiece Primal, and he's perfect in every way. So
how is he?
cool with it.
How is he? Is he like his cartoon counterpart?
Oh yeah, well, which one are you talking about? Talking about
MP
32 or
Primal.
38?
No, 32.
38 is a straight toy repaint,
Well,
right?
it's from the yeah, but it's mostly it takes more cues from the Beast Wars second movie, The Convoy in Imminent Danger or whatever.
Okay.
Because that was a different convoy. It's weird. It's one of those things like I'm sure plenty of people that listen to this or watch Stasis Lock. You can hear me talk about it over there. But
Japan.
yeah. So but I mean they're both awesome. But the 32, oh dude, just like it walked off the screen. It's crazy. And then ultimately like 38 looks like it stepped right out of the cell animation. It's crazy what they were able to do with both decos, which was cool. But
I mean,
when
I bought my Optimal Optimus back in the day, man, it stood right next to Power Master Prime, same size, which is pretty cool.
Oh my god, yeah, doing a MP scaled with the set scale for like Optimal Optimus, yeah, that'd be a big ass toy because it's
down the road they're gonna do it. They are.
I don't know, man. I don't think it's needed personally.
Oh, I'd love to see it. I'd love to see the red dragon Megatron.
Yeah, well, I think that's needed, just because that was the stupid like neck gimmick. But anyone have anything else they wanted to add to our Dark Sabertron prelude show?
I think I'm good.
Yeah,
I'm good.
Okay.
I think we covered everything.
Well, as we've mentioned a few times tonight, some different shows and podcasts and whatnot for you to check out. We are all part. Fuck that up. We are all part of the Cool Table Network, where you can catch shows like Shattercast Uncut, Enter the Realm, Beers and Bulgers 40K, Plastic Fanatics, Stasis Lock, Nerd Rage Radio, Toy Detox, 8 Weeks, Bigga Bangin', the Realm of Collectors, Hangout Podcast, a bunch of different stuff. So there is that. As always, I have been your host, Spiros, and it's been a treat this week. So anybody else want to sign off?
Good night. Good day. Good afternoon. What is it? 6:53. Good evening.
Probably before we go off there, like I don't know when anyone ups these because like we just recorded and then I Eddie and Ace and they do everything.
Don't assume.
It's
assume
been pretty consistently. It's been pretty consistently on Thursdays.
Well, yeah, like he'll I think like last week's like the video form went up a week after the audio form did, so I don't know. Maybe we can keep doing that. Whatever. But yeah. So I don't know if they put it up like during the like morning or evening, but whatever. Have a good day to whoever's listening to this. So, see you guys later.
And okay, we're not
No, we're
signing
still
up.
recording.
Okay.
I didn't know.
Well, hey, My name's Dakota. You can find me on the interwebs under the name Primal Sabbath on all the message boards and Facebook groups. And you can find me on a tiny little show called Stasis Lock with Matthew Deluxe Baldwin.
I heard you guys like to make selfies with each other.
Oh yeah, it's actually how we start the episodes. We and then we start recording.
It's very interesting. It sounds like a great show. If I had to watch one, it's a fantastic show.
If you love Beast Wars and Southern drawls, then Stasis Lock is for you.
Did you say draws or draws?
A little bit of both.
And a little bit of both.
Well,
we're kicking around a Patreon idea where we can share the selfies with our Patreon supporters.
And the speaking of Deluxe, man, in his famous words, good night, folks.